Good morning. Still morning. Friday, January 19th. I slept in a bit this morning. And I put some time in, hot tea, etc. And tried plenty of time to clear out whatever's coming up in the morning because I'm getting better. Still not 100%, but getting better. And a couple days ago, the last video game episode that I had available went up. I needed a StarCraft episode. I wanted to record some video game stuff this morning. So I get up, I set up, I get, StarCraft 2 update up to date for this week. Blizzard's online service, which is required for the single player campaign, or at least required to do it without every minute a pop-up box coming up. It wasn't having it. It said no. It was not working. But I'd gotten everything set up. I was like, I can game. What's going on? So, loaded Dungeon Siege 2 instead, and I played through two episodes, so at a half hour each, but also required prepping beforehand, basically selling off items, and I chose to do it at the end as well, so adding basically another half hour, so hour and a half-ish of that. Got a couple episodes done. Theoretically, that won't be the next that goes up, if it takes long enough before I can get to StarCraft 2. It may be. I may break the order. I've done it before. But at least I got something. Theoretically, if maybe in a week, or sometime over the week, if I can get StarCraft 2 going, that means I can get, more ahead for a smaller amount done then, since I already have these ones to alternate with it. So it's still worthwhile. Wasn't what I wanted to get, but it's something. Also, I heard from Nick. He's like, sometime this afternoon you want to go out to eat? And I was like, yeah, probably. We'll see. And when I made hot tea, brilliant idea. I probably don't need to do it the way I did it, but I did. Actually, it might be easier if I didn't. Anyways, because I got the tea kettle, and it has a minimum fill line, which is enough for more than what I drink in my glass of tea, and then a maximum fill line. I got it almost to the maximum line, heated it, made my cup of hot tea, and then poured it into the thing that I usually use here for tea. Basically, it's already stained, and so far this other one I've only actually is tea kettle, but I only use it for water, and then I steep it somewhere else. I don't know if I'll always do that or not, but at this point that's what I'm doing. So I poured it in there, and that's been in there for a couple hours, because that was before I even found out that StarCraft 2 wouldn't work. So that's ready. I make some bottles of tea, so I'll have that as iced tea for here or work or whatever, because I've been out for a couple days. So I got that done too. And as I'm getting shelves done, and as I'm getting more, I'm able to start progressing from just, from things just being storage to working in my direction of storage and also decoration and utility. Which technically I've had a shelf for utility before. Right now, this stuff that needs to be unboxed is there, but I have this shelf right here, just D&D books on their sides. That's a utility shelf right there. It's right at the height where when I'm sitting in the corner DMing, it's beside me. It worked great. The one next to it might end up being very similar. The ones directly above and below that level-ish are probably also going to be storage, like basically book decorative, but functional, grab and go kind of things. Like there's a decent chance I'll end up with a lot of the D&D editions for things that I'm not directly playing, but maybe I want to grab for inspiration, or I'll probably end up with things like the maps and those books of pawns there, that kind of thing. The bottom shelf is largely just going to be storage for things, like there's some magic cards there. And the main boxes that I keep magic cards in will not fit on these shelves. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do quite yet. They fit very well on what's going to be the pantry, but still making decisions. I don't know if I'm going to change the boxes, if I'm going to just have them as a stack somewhere. I'll decide. Anyways, carrying on. The topmost shelf is going to be mostly decorative, as is the shelf sort of directly below it. They're going to kind of do that. So the top couple will be pretty much majority here on being decoration, and as we get lower, we get into a little more functional, and then utility for things I can reach while filming, or function, and then things that, again, it's like, it's still nerdy stuff, but it's just that. And like here I have board games right there that might end up being a little high up, you know, it's gonna vary, but just sort of the things that are going through my head, because like the top shelf, it's just gonna be decoration, because when I'm sitting here gaming, I cannot reach that stuff. Like this one, that's sort of like a little, you know, Broadway theater shelf. I'm like, yeah, I got enough stuff, I care enough about it, I want to have a shelf that can kind of have that kind of stuff. Almost help me, encourage me to grow more of it, because there's some more things I certainly want to get, but more shows I certainly want to go to, get more playbooks and such. Harry Potter might take a couple, you know, same with Doctor Who at some point, but just sort of messing with it as I go. But yeah, definitely starting to think about that with this shelf, because these two, I did the shelves equal just straight across, because they were the height for the books, and that's what I needed at that point. Some of those may end up moving as I go, but like if you see here, this bottom one, this bottom shelf is actually a bit lower than the shelf next to it. This one here, a little lower, to make basically making more room here, not needing as much room for those bottom two there. Starting to play with the formula, and that's one of the things I want, because I want it kind of jumbled around as I go. So with these, they're probably going to have some movement just to keep that bit of a scattered look. I like that. And as she was almost bought specifically with this purpose, I figured the first pot that I should take out here and put on the shelf should be Ginevra. She has a base, don't worry. Although she does stand up better than some of the ones that I have that don't have bases even, so. But she does have a little clear base to help her stay stable. I actually wish that they pretty much all came with clear bases like this. It helps. It really does. And there we go. So we got her out of the box. A lot of them at this point still weaving in, just not to that point yet necessarily. But yeah, working my way around some things, getting things put together and such. Got a video uploading for the gaming channel, and also a Blu-ray starting to burn to clear off some space on the computer again. But now I'm heading out to Golden Corral with Nick. Gonna get some lunch. And the Nick sits in the corner, silhouetted by the window, enjoying his food here at the Golden Corral. Man, weird. They got their brunch thing for lunch, which worked out really well, because that means they have the sausage gravy, which is particularly good on mashed potatoes. No one would ever just want normal brown gravy on their mashed potatoes. That'd be silly. So I, in addition to burger and fries, have meatloaf and like a taco. Nick, on the other hand, what do you have?
Meatloaf with taco fixing with a side of taco meat.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly good.
Just like watching me do. He's basically, he's just turning his meat. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's probably not really all that different than the taco meat that they have on the side, but it's still, it's like,
It's all ground beef.
yeah, I know, it's all ground beef, but it's still kind of, I was like, how's he doing? Okay.
And it does taste good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And the taco shells are much better than their chips.
So for dessert, of course, bread pudding with ice cream, perfectly normal, standard thing to get. Then I also have ice cream on a fudge brownie, chocolate fudge brownie with chocolate fudge on the side as well. Nick's playing him some Cuphead with his insanely loud fan, but it is very, very cold in here. Yeah, it's doing its job. decent chance you have terrible wind noise on the mic. It's really blowing. Headed home. Couldn't stay at Nick's long. First off, I really only stayed a bit because I figure the Blu-ray's probably still burning, and so couldn't do much with the computer while it's doing that. But beyond that, even it's cold in there. He got a new fan for Christmas, and his mom got him a very powerful fan. I'm like, it's colder in here than it is outside. But it's not too bad outside. It's like mid-50s, so yeah, it's, you know, but still. I got through the classes section of the Xanathar's Guide to Everything. That's nice. And I've been working on editing a vlog today. It's a pretty simple, moderately short vlog. Except it's the one where I used the action camera. That footage will not function. It will crash the editing software that I normally use. It worked just fine in the nicer software. But that took forever to import things. Now it's saying it's going to take forever to export. I'm going to see if I can do something else about this, because I want it to be done at the... So I can just move on. I think I managed to figure it out. I was going to export... Basically, I'd edited the full video, then I imported that full video into my nice software, added the footage on top of it where it belongs for the action camera, and then I was going to export the full thing again. It's going to take like 3 hours. It's 7. That would mean that the computer's done for the night, and also I can't set it to do something else overnight. That's what it's going to be doing overnight. I didn't want to do that. So I sat and I thought for a moment. I now narrowed it down to just that scene. I'm going to export that, which is saying takes about 15 minutes, and then I can just reopen up the other software. It should be a normal file now that it can work with. Since I've shrunken it down, it's no longer its 4K. And then hopefully I can just put that on top of the other file and then re-export that one, which takes, again, 10 to 15 minutes. So basically cutting it from 3 hours to a half hour. Not bad. Will let me do just a little bit more on the computer for the night, as well as try and set it to import or export or whatever, something else overnight. Well, all that was going on. I did also a little more work here. I have a bit of a Star Wars shelf. And these aren't necessarily where they're going to go, by any means. And even when they're where they're going to go, I'm sure occasionally things will get moved around. But it is just sort of trying to put together and get some ideas for how I'm going to how I'm going to set things up. I got that going, and yeah, it's working much better. As I got lunch packed for tomorrow. And I come here, and as I put that in, I realize, I knew it was stuttering in the editing software, but it looks like, it would run normally before I tried editing it. But if I can't edit it, it's pointless. Not that I will never try using that little action camera for anything. I may. But, I would have to really mess with it to try and get it working. And I'm not going to bother with that if I don't actually have a reason to. And I don't yet. So, as of now, that action camera has bad audio when not in the case, but then again it loses a lot of its protection and waterproofness and that kind of thing when not in the case. So it needs to be in the case where it can't hear at all. And then the files that it creates have a difficult time with editing. not a whole lot of use. But if ever I'm going somewhere where I'm going to need or have the opportunity to submerge a camera in water, I may bring it and try and make it work and see what I can do then. Until then, it can stay on that shelf. It was cheap. It's fine. So I got new footage importing overnight. So I did get that going. Making some macaroni and cheese, and decided I wanted to sit down and watch the bonus features for An Adventure in Space and Time. So I throw it in my PlayStation 3, and it starts to load through the previews, and it gives me an error code and says, I don't know what Blu-ray this is. You can't watch it. So I look it up, and it's trying to say it's a region error, but it shouldn't be with the disc. The disc worked at my mom's, it works in the other player. From what I've looked up online, it's possible that the Blu-ray drive just died. Now, it's possible that it just got weirded out by that disc and it's fine. Fingers crossed. I've only tried that one disc in it, so maybe it's fine. Right now, I shut it off. I'm gonna let it rest. I pulled out my old Blu-ray player, my first one, basically that I had a long time ago, and it's not great. Actually, the reason I own a PS3, I hated PlayStation when I bought it. But I needed a new Blu-ray player, and I looked it up. And it was the best Blu-ray player. So that's why I got it. Was actually as a Blu-ray player. And even to this day, I use it far more for media watching than for games. Although I do game on my PS4, as I no longer have anything against PlayStation. They make good Blu-ray players. But anyway, so I had to pull that out, and it was a bit of a pain because, like, I don't have an HDMI cable with that. I had old component cables. Probably HDMI cable got stripped for something else long ago. So I, in this case, stripped the one from the Wii U in the other room and used it to connect to the TV. And so I'll go through some bonus features before going to bed, eat some mac and cheese, relax, but a little bit concerned about my PS3. Anyways, yeah, that'll be a problem for another time. Now I'm going to do this. And then I do gotta say, I wish I would have gotten more accomplished today, but I guess I often feel that way. I always want to do more with my time than time allows. It's not used to it. I think it's probably how life has always been, so I don't know why I'm not used to it by now, but I'm not. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.